Hello there, in this tutorial you're going to be learning how to build this using Flutter. Alright, so this is a basic NFT application that you're going to be building using Flutter, and you're not going to be building this from our head. We're going to be making use of a Figma file, which is this, and I'm going to drop the Figma file in the description, so you can also go ahead and try it out yourself. Alright, so if you're hyped, make sure you like, subscribe, and let's get started. Alright, so now let's take a look at what we are going to be building. So the first thing we want to consider is this thing that we have here. So initially this can work as an app bar, but I think it's better of we should not use an app bar in this case. We should just design it basically from scratch ourselves. So what you want to go ahead and do is, now let's head about to Visual Studio Code. And yeah, we have to clean up our project. So I mean that is the first thing we need to do. So let's go ahead and clean up our project. Okay. So let's clean up all the projects and ignore the WhatsApp for now. Let's clean up all the projects. All right, good. You see, and we have an error here. Basically, we'll get back to that later. You can just delete this. All right, then we can call this NFT app. Okay, so let's go ahead and call this NFT app. All right, so we have an error there. So in our lib folder, what we want to head over and do is, let's create a folder called screens. So for these screens here, we're going to create a file called home.dat. So basically this home.dat is where our home page is going to be, that we're going to include in the main page here. So let's go ahead and create a stateful widget where I can call this home page, right? And notice this was what I imported. I don't know why mine imports something like that, because you can go ahead and import package and do Flutter, then we select material.dat, which is that. Then here we can go ahead and return scaffold. Scaffold, I mean. For this scaffold, let's give it an app bar. Though we'll delete it later, but let's just give it an app bar so we can see that our home page is actually rendering. So we now have to include it in this place by heading over here, and let's do home page. So this is going to import home page for us. You can see, so we have this blue squiggly line. So we can head over to material app, add a constant to it, and that should disappear. So we should go ahead and to our browser, to our emulator, you can see we have it. So basically it's working now. So what I want to do now is remove the banner at this side here. So let's go ahead and remove the banner here. Let's make it false. So you will notice that's disappeared. Good. So since we are here, remember I said we don't want to make use of an app bar, because basically this will fit it initially. So what we want to do is build it ourselves. So app bar, we are going to delete the app bar. We should save it. You'll see we have an empty page. So what we want to go ahead and do is, let's create a body. So for this body here, we want to create a column. All right. So we're going to create a column first. So the column will accept the children. So the column is like our root of everything. So it will accept the children. So now as for the children, the first one to accept is a row. Can you say this is, thank God this is highlighted like this. So basically this is a row. Can go ahead and accept the row. So inside the row, we can go ahead and specify children, because a row can be multiple stuff. The same way a column can also can accept multiple stuff. That's why we have children and children inside of each of them. So we have children. So the first thing we need is this. All right. So before that, let's just go ahead and download this picture. So I'm just going to head over to double click on it, click export here. Then what is this? Okay, let's go ahead and click on export. So this is going to export this file name here. So you can go ahead and cut it. So I'm going to cut it, then head over to where I created my project. Okay, so this file here is going to be called, let's create a folder here called assets. So inside the assets, I'm just going to paste this here, and I'm going to rename this and call it let's call it profile, and it's a PNG file. So since we've done that, let's just go ahead and save this first. So let's go to our prospect YAML to set up our assets. So once you are here, you can go ahead and uncomment this. Once that has been uncommented already, what you want to do is point to assets / what is our folder name, our file name, I mean profile.png. So we can go and call profile.png. But I believe you can let's add this inside a folder instead. Okay, so let's go to assets, click on these images. All right, so we can move that into the images. Okay, good. So we have assets. Now we can go ahead and point to images. Then we say select the profile.png. Okay, so we can comment this out for now. Save this. So initially, once you've like merged with the prospect YAML, it's going to run this pub get. Initially, if you are not using Visual Studio Code or Android Studio, if you want to run the prospect, normally you're supposed to do Flutter pub get. All right, so this will like will run the prospect YAML configuration, and also you can see there's a button here that also does what is expected to do. Good. So once that has been done already, has been created already, what you want to go ahead and is close the app. Let's go ahead and close the app because we did the prospect stuff. So once you've terminated the app, go ahead and rerun the app now. So let's rerun the app. So wait for this app to rerun. Okay, so the project has successfully booted up again. So we can close this prospect here. And yeah, so we can go back to our browser now. So we said we need this first thing here. So basically, as that is a container. So we can go ahead and pass in a container inside of it. So once we have a container inside of it, we can go ahead and specify a child. So this child here also is a row because we have the Ethereum logo there and a text. So you can call this a row. And for this one, we can go ahead and pick up the Ethereum logo here. So we can go ahead and download it. Okay, so let's go ahead and download this export. So export the Ethereum logo. So once you've done that, go to your download folder again, just like we did the previous one. You can cut this and head over back to our file. So which is in document NFT app. So that's where I created my own, and I'm going to paste it inside images. Paste it here. So we have that file here. So I'm just going to copy the name. Then the same thing also, we have to go to the prospect YAML. So for this case, I'm not sure we are going to be like, I'm closing the app to restart it. So because initially we should have downloaded all the images. So let's just do what we have here. So we can do assets, images, then paste the image, which is a PNG file. So save this. This is going to run the prospect for us. You can see pub get is running. And yeah, so let's go ahead and do the first thing we need is an image.asset. All right, so once you have an image.asset, you can go ahead and specify the same routes, the same file path that we specified inside of this place, which is this. So we can just like copy this. All right, so you can copy that, then we can head over back there, paste this inside of it. We have an error here, so assets. So there's no S at the back of it. So we should save this. Hopefully we have the assets loaded up. You can see we have the asset loaded up here because we can't see it. So we can wrap this column with a safe area. So safe area is like saying it's like moving it away from this notification bar that is here. So save this. And see we have the image there. And good. So there's something we need to figure out now, the background color of everything here. So we can go ahead and click on this color picker. I have color picker section on my Chrome, so you can go ahead and download it if you want. So I'll just copy the color. So once I've copied the color, since we have just a one page kind of stuff, so I don't need to stress myself in creating constant. I don't need to create constant. So we can go ahead and do background color. So you can go ahead and specify the color OX. So we are using this because we have selected a custom color here. We are not using the color that comes with but initially. So we are using an HEX code, so which is 15202B. So let's go ahead and do it. 15202B. So FF15202B. You can see the color is shown here already. So we can go ahead and make this constant. Save this. And yep, good. So we have the background color that we needed. Good. So let's continue ahead with what we want. So since we have this, we can go ahead and have a text that says 26,031. So let's go to text, which is 26,031. Or we can go ahead and do style. So this should be text style. And what we want to do is just increase the font size. So basically, we want to increase the font size. So the font size here, we can just make it 18.0. All right, save this. So you can see it is there, but we can't send it. So let's make it color. Not here, sorry. So inside this place, we can make it color. You can see colors.white. All right, so we have our text here. We can make this also constant. So we remove the squiggly blue lines. Okay, good. So since we have that, last one to do is just let's go ahead and do constant. Sorry. constant size box. So size box, let's just give it a width of 5. So that is like separate them from each other. Okay, that is a little bit small. Let's try 10. Okay, I think that's fair enough. And I think the text is bold. So let's do font weight, which is going to be font weight dot bold. Okay, good. So it's okay like this. And now we can go ahead and specify something called decoration for here. So we can do box decoration. So what's our box decoration here? The only thing we need is to pass in a border. You can see border dot all. And we want a color. So let's just make it colors dot red. So we see what we have. Okay, so let's make colors dot red. So we have you see we have this red border here. Initially, border we want is a white. So let's get the colors dot white. Good. And we want to make it rounded. So we can go ahead and do border radius, which is border radius dot circular. So let's make it rounded by, let's say 10. Save it. I can see it is rounded, but I believe it's too much rounded. So let's keep it at 5. Okay, that is okay. Or let's keep it at 8. Okay, that seems okay. So what we want to do is now specify a padding inside of this. You can see it's const, then we do edge insert. So instead of only, we specify all. So we want a padding inside all of them. So we can say 10. Good. So we want that padding, and which is almost close. Yep. I think one thing we can do is increase the width. So let's try width of 100. You can see the width is not actually passing. So I believe I should be able to wrap this with an expanded, and hopefully that should work. Okay, good. So we have 100 here. So let's try 80. Good. So you see, nothing actually like works like that. So this is why is because you specify and expanded in it, so it will actually work like that. So let's go ahead and remove this widget, and let's remove this one here. So let's have this for now. So since we have this here, you notice some other stuff which they have this balance here, and the balance is like sitting on top the border, and it's like it has I'm not sure if you can see it very, but it has like a color to it, like a background color of the text color that is white. So what we can do is we can wrap this in a stack. Okay, so no, we can change this row to a stack. Is it the row we are meant to change to a stack? Okay, not the row actually, is this container here. So let's wrap this container with a column. So this column here, we can turn it to a stack. You see, we still have basically the same thing. So right after the container here, let's go ahead and have another container. So container here, you can have a child text which says what does it say there? Balance, I believe. Okay, good. It says balance. Then you can go ahead and do style, which is text style. Then you can go ahead and do the font size. So let's increase the font size. Let's try 80.0. And color should be white. So colors dot white. So save this, and we can make this constant. You can see our text is on top of it already. So, and we can just call this like a color. So what color do we need? We need this particular color here, because it seems like it was sitting on top something. So we can call that color exactly something like that. So since we have that, let's move this. So we'll wrap this with a widget called positioned. So you wrap that in a widget called position. So you want to position it on that. So let's try bottom 0. And say that is there. So since bottom is 0, let's try left 0. Let's just add everything should be 0. Okay. So left 0, right 0, then top should be 0. So let's save this. Okay. You can see everything that's like scattered. So let's cut it top away. Good. So we've cut it top away, and what about, okay, let's cut the right also away. Let's just leave the, okay, good. Now, so this left here, I believe we can like play with it. So let's make it 10. Okay, good. So in this case, let's try 50. 50 is too much. So let's just try 20. Okay, good. So we have it at center. Then this bottom here, we can go ahead and do something like -10. You can see we have -10 there, and you can see it is entering. That is the reason why, because I believe that there's no space enough. So let's try this in a size box. Then let's give it a height of like say 100. Okay, you can see the height is right here. So if I should set this to 0 back, possibly let's see what happens. So that is basically what happens there. So it's taking the size of the size box here. So let's remove this for now and let's try another method. So instead, let's wrap the container with the size box instead. So size box, so let's say height of 100, and let's see what happens. So you see the size box is one that actually increased. Okay, so again, let's remove this. So since we have that, what we can just do is just play with it a little bit. So let's do -5. As you can see, it's entering again. Trying to figure out what we do. Okay, let's wrap this with a size box. So let's wrap this with a size box. Or I believe we should wrap the row with a size box instead. Okay, good. So I believe we should wrap the row with a size box in there instead. Sorry. So let's get wrap the row with a size box. So let's do size box. So let's get that height should be like 100. And let's see what happens. Okay, good. So we have height of 100. So height of 100 is initially like, let's say it's too much. So let's try 50. Okay, good. Then yeah, I should pass something like 10 here. Okay, so you see like going inside of it. So if I should try 70 here. Okay, so that doesn't work either. So we can remove this also. So this is a little bit fun. All right, so you see that bottom here. Let's turn it to something like, let's try top. So let's give it 10. So we should save this. Okay, is there? Well, I believe we should wrap this stack here with a container. So you can go and specify an height. So let's give it a height of like, let's say 100. Okay, so we have stack of 100, height of 100 So let's go ahead and increase this to like 40. Okay, this is working. So let's make this like 38 instead. No, let's make it 20. Almost to 25. Nope. Okay, I think 30 should work. All right, good. So we have exactly what we needed here. Okay, so we have exactly what we needed here. And yep. So I just noticed that the image is a little bit big. So let's increase this image size. So let's do, should we do width or, so let's first try width. So let's increase the size. So we have a very big image that we are not seeing. So let's take it back to 20. Okay, 20 seems a little bit better. Then we have to just style this again. 35 should be okay. No, okay, I think 40 should work now. Okay, good. And I can move this a little bit like 25. Sorry. 25 should work. Okay, good. So we have that. And the next thing we want to head over and do is this one here. You can see that again, you notice that we have a lot of like spacing inside of it. So let's make this spacing like 8. Okay, so I just want to make sure everything works fine. Then let's increase this width to like, let's first try 100. Okay, 100 does nothing initially, because trying to figure out why it's saying overflow, whatever it's saying. So let's comment this and let's try the width again. 100. Okay, so we have that. So it's basically the padding that is like almost causing an issue, I believe. So the register 500. Okay, so let's try 300. Okay, good. So the padding was the one causing the issue. So let's move this to 200. Too big. So let's try 150 for now. And I believe, okay, that is also too big. Let's try the 130. All right, that is okay. Then let's try height. So height here, let's make it 100 or so. Too much. We can just make the height 50. Okay, nice. Okay, this is good. And this row here, I believe we can center it. Okay, center doesn't work because initially I believe we can make it like center. Main axis, center, save this. Okay, good. Then we can head over back to this place. Let's increase this to like 30. No, let's try 50. Because at that moment it looks as if it's not centered. So let's try and center it. Okay, this is fair enough. And let's just reduce it to like 38. Okay, good. Now that is okay. So let's go ahead and just include this. This our profile image here. So like after the container here, we have a I believe it's a row. So after the specify command, then let's do image of assets slash images slash then our profile dot png. Okay, save this. Now we have an error. Okay, because I have double G here, so it's just 1G. Good. So we have our image there. So when we have this row here, we can go ahead and do main axis alignment, then main axis alignment dot space between. So this will space them. And I believe we can make this like align to each other by doing cross axis alignment. Then let's say start. Okay, good. All right, so we are done with the first space, and you notice that there's a little bit of spacing. So let's go ahead and specify a padding now for our column. So for this padding here, let's go ahead and do symmetric. So symmetric, we are seeing horizontal. Horizontal, we want to have a padding of let's say 20. Save this. Okay, I think that is a little bit better. Then for vertical, let's also have 20 for vertical. All right, good. So that is fair enough. This is nice. Now, next section we want to look at is this place. Then I will end up the first section video there because I believe the video is becoming too long already. So we want to go ahead and have this section here. Okay, so that section is basically after the row here. So I believe so we can go ahead and do size box. So size box is like we want to add this spacing. So let's say 30. All right, so we want that. Then you notice that we have this. So what we are supposed to use here, we can go ahead and use something now. Elevated button. So elevated button now we can pass our on press to be like nothing, Then our child will be a text. So what's our text going to be? Our text is going to be trending. Okay. Then you can save this and you see we have on the screen basically exactly what we need. Okay, then let's call this. This is supposed to be a list view. Why is it a list view? Because you notice that you have 1, 2, 3, and there's another 4 here. So basically it's just kind of scrolling stuff. So you have list view, you can have children here. Let's just space this like 5 times. 4, 5, save it. Okay, so it's not showing, so we have to specify shrink wrap to be true. So we want it to show up. Okay, then you can see it's going like in a straight line. So you want to say scroll direction should be axis dot horizontal. Okay, and it has disappeared. Let's take a look at what the error is. The error is saying column. This is what is causing the error here, and I believe I can wrap this with an expanded instead. So let's wrap this with expanded. So save this. Good. So we have expanded here. Let's get and wrap it with a size box instead. Let's give it a nice double dot infinite. So double dot infinite is like saying take audio, width space. So save that. So we have double dot infinite, then it has as size. So as I like saying the height of it. So you have to specify an height. So let's go ahead and specify an height. You can give it let's say 50 and let's see what happens. So you see we have 50 there, and there's supposed to be like a space between these things. So I'm trying to figure out the space between them. Okay, there is no space. So you notice that if I should scroll like this, you see I can scroll. So I think I'm just going to wrap one with a padding. So this will be symmetric. I'll say this will be horizontal. Horizontal, save this. Sorry. Horizontal, save this. Okay, so let's just make this 10. We can copy this. Let's start padding to this one. Wrap with widget with the padding. Initially, we are building a project. This is not you're supposed to do it, but this is just a fast UI design kind of stuff. So you can paste this right here. Save this also. So we have the padding. If you scroll, we have that, and you notice that it's only the first one that has a color. So we have to change the color of this. Let me over this, and I see if there's a color kind of stuff here. I'm not sure I can see the color. Okay, we have style. So this style here, we want button style. So button style dot. Let us dot. So let's have button style. Okay. We're going to have we have background color. So we have background color there. Background color is basically the color of this. Initially, if it was like random project, in normal projects, you have make this a constant, but since this is just a UI that we're building, so yep. So don't worry, I'll be creating a Flutter video very soon, like a full video that will cover everything there. So remove this constant, and we have an error. Sorry about that. So we have an error that says, what is this error here? Okay, so I'm just going to close this so I can read the error, which says the argument color can be assigned to parameter material state color kind of stuff. So I believe you can do material state color over these dots. Oh, okay. Let's take a look at how because initially I've not made use of elevated button before. Elevated button style. Okay, so we have the Flutter API. Please make sure you read the Flutter documentation. So we have what is it? I'm having a very bad network. Okay, so I think I'm just going to go with the Stack Overflow instead. Now when we look at this, so we have elevated button. Okay, exactly what I'm looking for. This style form. I did dots in that first place, but I couldn't figure it out. So you can go ahead and do button style initially. So you have there's actually no style here. So it is passed inside something like this style form. They go ahead and pass in background color that says colors. Okay, not that color. You can paste our color here. Now we have an error that says what is the error we are having now? The button style can be assigned to parameter of widgets. So is it a widget? Elevated button. Oh wow. Sorry about that. So let's just copy this. So we have the regular elevated button. So we have style. So style is going to be also elevated button. Elevated button then dot style. Exactly. Then you have an error that says on press isn't defined. Yeah, we have to close this. Comma. Right. Good. So let's check it out. Sorry. I can see it is working now. And let's head over back to the NFT. So we want art gaming. So the rest should be the same color. So we can copy this and just, paste them right here. So paste this one right here. And also paste this one right here. Okay. Then we want to go ahead and just, let's say art gaming. Let's just change the text. So art gaming. And let's do tech. And let's just do sports. Okay, so we have basically everything that is needed in this space. Okay, and I'm trying to look at something here. So let's look at this. Okay. Okay, so I believe I can put something like shape. So this shape takes in a circular a rectangle border. So you can, after passing that, okay, now we can go ahead and do border radius and do border radius dot circular. So let's just give it 10. So you see, always make sure you use this thing to understand out of your code. So yep. So I believe that's like rounded a little bit. So how can I confirm this? Let's copy this and add it to the one with the blue instead of no. Let's just make this colors a thread. Okay, so save this and let's see. Again, you can see it's rounded now. So let's just leave the shape like that. It's very, very good. Then you notice, I believe the color seems a little bit different, you know. So I believe the color is different, as you can see. So how can so right click on this, edit color. So we can copy this color here. Okay, so we have that color here. You notice that it's a little bit different. So I'm gonna do OX again, FF, then paste the color, save it. Yes, exactly. So you notice we have different vibe now. So about that, so copy this. Then let's paste this in the next 3 places, I believe. 2, 3. Save. Good. All right. So basically, this is where we are going to be stopping for this tutorial. So in the next section, we are going to be building this particular part. All right. And before we go, so let's just reduce this to like 20 because the space is a little bit too much. Okay. Good. All right. So let's wait for the next part.